Welcome back. The House Judiciary Committee holding a hearing this morning on how activist judges are blocking President Trump's agenda. Trump's efforts to cut USAID, fire federal staffers, and deport dangerous illegal criminals, all being stymied by the courts. Lawmakers will hear from Cindy Romero. She is the woman who shot viral video showing armed Tren de Aragua terrorists storming her Colorado apartment building. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich will also speak. This all happening as the House preps a vote this week on a bill limiting federal judges' ability to issue nationwide injunctions. Joining me now is House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Be back. Good to be with you, Maria.
So some lawmakers say they want to impeach these judges who are trying to stop President Trump. What will this hearing accomplish? Tell me what you're expecting.
Well, we're going to highlight the bill we passed 4 weeks ago out of committee, a bill that says when you got some district judge in California, for example, who issues this injunction, it shouldn't apply nationwide. It should apply only to the parties in the case in that respective jurisdiction. So we'll highlight that bill that the Speaker is going to put on the floor, the leader are going to put on the floor tomorrow, and we'll pass out of the House. And then we'll talk about just this broader fundamental question of really who decides. Is it the guy who put his name on the ballot, or is it the bureaucracy? Is it the guy who got 77 million votes from We the People, or is it some district trial judge in Timbuktu, California? And I think we're going to get to the heart of that issue and talk about things we can do in the legislative branch with oversight, with legislation like the bill we're going to pass tomorrow, and, of course, using the appropriations process and any other tool that we want to keep on the table to potentially use to make sure the people's will gets done through the guy they elected on November 5th.
Well, it's pretty incredible to me that the judge could actually make this stunning notion that he wants the flight to go back to America when we're told that there are Tren de Aragua dangerous gang members on the flight going to El Salvador.
Yeah, I mean, the American people have common sense, and they look at this and they're thinking like, wait a minute, this judge said, turn the plane around, bring the bad guys back here. The bad guys who were here illegally, who did terrible things, who are part of an international gang, a terrorist organization, the Tren de Aragua gang, which everyone knows is notorious for all kinds of bad things. Turn that plane around and bring them back. And people are saying, are you kidding me? So this is the kind of thing we want to make sure we underscore and highlight and get some viewpoints from the people who've lived it, like Miss Romero in Aurora, Colorado, who lived it, who saw what happened to her community, to her apartment complex, to her car. She's going to talk about those things. And, of course, the perspective from Speaker Gingrich, who for 50 years almost now has devoted his life to protecting the Constitution and defending the values of our great country.
Well, look, your colleagues on the left are upset with President Trump and the speed with which he is moving to change the federal bureaucracy, no doubt about it. Democrat senators are giving a marathon speech on the Senate floor right now. They're still railing against President Trump and against Elon Musk and Doge. They started speaking last night at 7 o'clock in the evening. Tesla and Elon Musk seeing an increase of attacks. A man was arrested at an Idaho dealership for hitting a pro-Tesla demonstrator with his car. In Boston, police are hunting for a suspect accused of harassing Tesla owners, attacking their cars. And then in Arizona, an elderly woman driving a Tesla was brutally assaulted on a highway. Musk says he's not going to back down. He says Doge will investigate how certain lawmakers have accumulated a great deal of wealth while on a congressional salary, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, and it's not like they're doing. Well, first of all, I mean, it's terrible what's happening to these individuals driving Teslas. I mean, it just shows you how ridiculous the left has become. And as Attorney General Bondi's indicated, these people are going to be prosecuted who do these terrible things. So God bless her for doing the right thing and enforcing the law. But I think it just underscores how crazy the left is. But also, it's not like it's a surprise. President Trump told us he was going to, bad guys who were here illegally are going to be sent back to their native country. He's doing that. He said we're going to put Elon Musk in charge of this effort called Doge, and we're going to find wasteful, ridiculous spending, and he's doing that. It's not a surprise. Here's the shock, though. Most of the time, politicians, when they run for a job, say one thing and then get in office and do something else. President Trump and Elon Musk are doing exactly what the president said was going to happen. And that really bothers the left. But it's the way I think we should operate. When you put your name on a ballot and you get elected, go do what you said. President Trump is doing that.
Well, I've got to tell you, I mean, we just spoke with Eric Trump a few minutes ago, and he was talking to us about getting debanked. And he named the banks, which canceled them. And I'm wondering if you're looking into this. I know Tim Scott in the Senate has been doing hearings about this, but he just laid it out for us. Watch this. Which banks canceled you? What happened?
Oh, God, everybody. Capital One being the largest. I've sued them recently. Chase canceled us.
Okay, so it was Capital One, because I know that Capital One also canceled Melania Trump, I understand.
They came after us viciously because my father was in the White House, and they wanted to punish us, right? It was legal lawfare. It was political lawfare. That's exactly what Capital One did. Chase did the same thing. Bank of America did the same thing. TD did the same thing. First Republic did the same thing to us.
Your reaction, Congressman?
Well, yeah, we had a whistleblower come testify and told us what Bank of America did 5 years ago when they went to, actually 4 years ago, when the FBI went to them and said, turn over all the credit card, debit card purchases of anyone in the Washington, D.C. area on January 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2021. They didn't get any kind of warrant, any kind of subpoena. They just said, turn it over. That's the government working with banks, and banks gave that kind of information over, and we're focused on going after conservatives, asking all kinds of questions about if they were conservative, what have you. So we know this is, of course we're going to look into this, because this is all part of this, the left coming after their political opponents using whatever means they can, and we all know it's wrong.
I just want to point out that Capital One has responded and gave us a statement since Eric Trump is suing them, and the Trump family is suing these banks. Capital One has not and does not close customer accounts for political reasons, is the statement from Capital One. How will you look into this? What is the next step here?
Well, we'll work with the Financial Services Committee. We did an investigation. We released a report last year where banks were asking certain things. They were talking about, oh, it might be a reputational risk to your company if you do this, if you engage in certain kind of behavior, if you bank certain kind of individuals. They were getting pressure from the government. So we'll look at both of that, what the banks are doing and the pressure coming from the Biden administration, look back on that as well. But we'll work with the Financial Services Committee. French Hill, the chairman here on the House side. So we'll try to work with them, because they're looking at a number of issues in the course of the financial services sector.
Meanwhile, President Trump's anti-Semitism task force reportedly suspending more than $200 million in federal funding at Princeton. They're also reviewing nearly $9 billion in federal grants and some $225 million in contracts to Harvard. Mr. Chairman, the House Judiciary Committee is investigating whether the Biden administration gave federal funding to fuel the protests against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his reforms. Tell us more.
Well, our hypothesis is the left, not just here, but all over the world. And we believe they went after Prime Minister Netanyahu just like they went after President Trump. What we're trying to figure out is, did in fact American tax dollars get funneled through NGOs that then were used in Israel to undermine the Prime Minister? Right now, we know the Prime Minister is he's got a criminal action against him. He has to testify hours every week while he's trying to run his country in the middle of a war, for goodness sake. So we know what the left is doing to him. We believe we're starting to find some evidence pointing to American tax dollars being funneled through NGOs that are being used to undermine the Prime Minister, and we want to get to the bottom of it.
Unbelievable. Well, the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Oversight holding a hearing tomorrow called Inside the Biden FBI. Waste, fraud, abuse, and a bureau leadership in decline, Congressman. You'll hear from several former FBI officials. What can we expect here?
Well, the big takeaway, Maria, is it's night and day between the Garland-Ray Justice Department and FBI and what we have under Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. We had 7 subpoenas we sent to Kash Patel 4 weeks ago. They've complying with everything, getting us the information that we wanted to get, that we had trouble getting from the Ray FBI. So night and day. We're going to go take a look back at just how bad it was, and thank the good Lord that we now have Pam Bondi and Kash Patel running those institutions.
Well, you're right. But look, President Trump is calling for the declassification of the documents relating to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. We know all about that. Collusion with Russia, which was a complete made-up story. And Ron Johnson told me, even though President Trump declassified all of that on the way out of the office last term, he never saw any of those pages. So are you sure these agencies are going to work with you and actually declassify this stuff, even though President Trump is saying it? They didn't the last time.
Yeah, I'm totally confident because leadership matters. And we now have an Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who's going to work with us, who's going to get us the information the American people deserve to have their questions answered. She's going to get us that, and so is Kash Patel, Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, all good people. So, yeah, we're very confident we're going to get the information that we need to answer the American people's questions.
Well, it'll be good for the American people to understand what took place. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for your leadership and your work. We'll be watching.